powerful story presented in a few minutes. Distinguished guests, academic staff, students, it gives me great pleasure to be the keynote speaker at the ANC Awards Night and graduation ceremony this year. ANC has established itself as a leading private higher education institute within Sri Lanka, and I believe that the educational service provided by ANC are both relevant and important in addressing the needs of its students and of the corporate sector in the country. I would like to thank the organizers and management of ANC for the invitation to speak today, and thank Savitri for the introduction. Let me take a few moments to help you get a deeper understanding of the company I represent, about who we are and what we do. A little different to the presentations you've had so far. And what I'd like to do is to cover a few topics. First, an introduction to the company. Second, the foundation on which we built our success. Third, some of the lessons that I've learned that I can share with you. Looking ahead for the industry, telling you something about what I see, what we see, the future opportunities in the industry, so that you come back after you go out and train yourself. And then a few words on the future for you. We established our company in 1987, so it's almost 25 years now since we started. And we started with a product that Sri Lanka was really not an exporter of or a producer of in large quantities, intimate apparel. At that particular point of time, most, if not all, exporters produced casual clothing. And I decided to go against the grain and produce a product that people felt Sri Lankans did not have the fine needle work to be able to produce. We proved a lot of people wrong by becoming the single largest supplier of intimate apparel to the world's largest retailer of intimate apparel, Victoria's Secret. We then went on to establish another category of product. We started with casual clothing, but realized that there were too many in that particular area, and it was too crowded. So we focused on active and sportswear and engaged with Nike, one of America's leading brands and an international brand of sportswear and activewear. And we are today the second largest supplier to Nike worldwide. We then established another business to manufacture swimwear and entered into a joint venture with Speedo. And as you saw in the movie, several of our products were worn by athletes at the Beijing Olympics, at the Athens Olympics, and we are currently working with Speedo to prepare athletes for the London Olympics in 2012. So here's a company in a small little island nation that has achieved world-class excellence in whatever it has done on the back of the strength, of the talent of Sri Lankans, not dissimilar to all of you. Behind the apparel manufacturing that we set up is the supply chain that we invested in almost 10 years back. So we produce almost 40% of the raw material that we use, the lace, the fabric, the trims that go with the product. And 4 years back, we established a brand of intimate apparel in India. We couldn't ignore the 1.2 billion people just 18 miles north of us, an emerging market with an enormous potential. Interestingly enough, the brand was received very well. The fit, the comfort is what the customers speak about. And we have, in our market segment, the second position or the second most popular brand in that market segment, with something like 340 outlets in India. So here's a company with manufacturing principally in Sri Lanka and some manufacturing in the region, with sales to the US, to the UK, to Europe, and now to the emerging countries. All of this has been built on a set of fundamental principles that form the foundation of our success. Five key areas or elements of that I'd like to share with you. The first, establishing strategic relationships, very important. Building a team of professionals that run your business. Third, attracting and retaining and investing in the best talent. Fourth, investing in technology. And fifth, having a strong set of values. In 1986, a gentleman by the name Martin Trust, the president of Mast Industries, the sourcing arm of Limited Inc., came to Sri Lanka looking for a joint venture partner to establish a manufacturing operation in the country. I was fortunate to be one of two partners that Marty decided to enter into joint venture with. And that gave birth to our first intimate apparel operation. It is that first experience and the success of that business that encouraged us to enter into strategic relationships with other best-in-class companies around the world. So after that first venture, we entered into relationships with Triumph International, one of Germany's best bra manufacturer, with Kotol's Clothing, a company out of the UK, and with several others, but built on the philosophy of entering into strong strategic relationships where we, along with them, give a compelling solution to the customer and win. These relationships are built on a few fundamental values: trust, mutual respect, and a culture that is similar in many respects, theirs as well as ours. Probably one of the other aspects that was significant is the business ethics that they believed in and the business ethics that we had, the values that we shared and the values that they shared. So these strategic relationships were actually built on these fundamental concepts, and as a result of it, they have lasted with Victoria's Secret for 25 years, with Triumph for 20, with Marks and Spencer for 18. And that's not possible unless you share the same values and the same culture. The next important aspect I thought would be important to tell you is how we brought on board professionals to run our business. I still recall our first meeting with Mr. Trust. I mean, I would sit across the